Right, so we are good to go.
Okay.
Let me mute the other listeners so that they don't interrupt you. Mute all. I'm going to mute all, and then you can unmute. Just you. Good. Okay, so you are good to go.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad to be on this platform today, and I hope we are going to have a good time. First of all, that's what I must say. I don't want to waste much time on me because we have a lot to discuss, and I hope that we are going to have a lot of nice and positive interactions today. I am Daniel Mauli Damali. I am partly Dutch, partly Ghanaian. My mom is from the Netherlands, and my father is a Ghanaian citizen. So I am what they commonly call the half caste, or I would say that the multi-purpose breed. I'm married. I'm quite young. I'm still in my 20s, and currently working with Jolinaiko Ecotours, which is a tourism company. We provide tour packages throughout West Africa, but currently, because of the whole issues that are happening in the Francophone countries, we have reduced our scope a little bit at the moment. So I went to school at the University of Cape Coast. I studied finance, that I did a degree in Bachelor's of Commerce, that is the finance option. After school, I did my service with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and not long after that, I got a job with Jolinaiko Ecotours, where currently I head the financial department. So I am what they call a financial analyst, a financial manager, whichever name you wish to give to it. On the side, I do a lot of freelance work. I work for people who have issues with their taxes, so I do tax consultancy. I work for people who have issues with business in general. I do a lot of business advice. I come and do budgeting for you. I come and do accounting for you and make sure that I help you with the planning of your products, the planning of your profits, your margin, so and so forth. So in my scope of work, both at Jolinaiko Ecotours and in freelance, I have a variety of tasks that are always on my desk, from very administrative tasks that are your task filing, your filing of taxes, your SNIT, your legislative duties that you need to do as a finance manager, as well as very broad tasks which inquire or require a lot of thinking, a lot of brain cracking, let me put it like that, such as budgeting, creating of strategic plans, where you need to do a lot of statistics, look at what is the future bringing us. You do a lot of research, a lot of economic research, as well as political and social research, because we are in the tourism industry, and whatever happens in the world affects our industry. So that is a little bit about myself. I don't want to say too much about myself because I want us to dive into the topic. So if I'm permitted, I would love for us to continue into the next session. Thank you very much. Mr. Bright, can I continue, please?
Thank you.
All right. I believe I can continue. All right. Okay. So I want us to start with the topic for today. The topic is going to be in sessions, and some are going to be more of narrating. I'm going to do a little talking just to introduce the topic to us, just for us to get a feel, an overview of what this topic is about, the importance of the topic, some of the benefits of being able to handle this topic well in your private life, whether you are working, whether you are not working. And thereafter, we are going to do some interactive sessions. Later on, there's going to be a case study in which hopefully we'll break down in groups and do some interaction as well. So the topic for today is time and task management. And when you look at time and task management, it looks like a very big, a very vague topic, something that somebody cannot really put a hold on or a finger on. But in actual fact, it is not so difficult, but it is the execution thereof that is very important. So one thing I have learned, especially in my working life, is that any topic or any subject in which you are given a task to do or you are practicing, you realize that you struggle if you don't understand the topic well. Therefore, today we are going to dive into what is time and task management. Hopefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we have an overview of it, and then we can go to our very first interactive session. Good. So now we look at a task. What is a task? A task is a chore, an objective, or a goal. And one thing I would advise you, forgive me, I should have told you earlier that if you don't have a pen and a paper, or maybe on your laptop, you're on your iPad, you're on your phone, but try and get some notes so that you write something down. When we get to our interactive sessions, your notes are really going to help you in order for you to answer the questions very well. And like Mr. Bright said, if I'm permitted, I can off my screen or I can keep it on. The organizers can just send me a text, whichever they prefer. All right, thank you. So as I said, a task is a chore. A task is an objective. A task is a goal. Now, to every task, there's an allocation of time. Naturally, that is how it has been created. For everything we do, we use some level of time to do it. For you to come to this meeting, if you see it as part of your daily tasks, you know that this meeting is from 2 to 4. So you know that the allocation for this task is 2 hours. Right. Now, we know that because every task has time allocated to it, you must manage it because time is limited. There are certain resources, they are unlimited, but time, unfortunately, is not unlimited. Time is a limited resource to man. We don't have time in abundance. Most of us rather have less time and a lot of tasks on our head. So now the question is, how are we going to manage this task with the little time that we have? So I want us to look at 2 definitions of, first of all, task management. Secondly, time management. Good. Task management involves the systematic approach of planning, organizing, and executing tasks in order to accomplish a specific objective. I want to repeat it once again. Task management involves the systematic approach of planning, organizing, and executing tasks in order to accomplish a specific objective. Very good. And I want you to, if you are writing it down or you are picking some keywords, I want you to look at planning, organizing, and executing. Very well. Now, I want us to look at the definition for time management as well. So time management is the process of consciously planning and controlling time spent on specific tasks in order to increase our efficiency. So time management is the process of consciously planning and controlling time spent on specific tasks to increase our efficiency. Very well. So we look at the 2 definitions that we have over here. And when we look at our 2 definitions that we have over here, straight away we realize that in both definitions, we look at the word planning. We look at the word planning. And when we look at the word planning, we look at the fact that planning is very important, both in time management, both in task management. Aside we planning, there are other components that come out of the definitions. And we are going to look at 3 components in time and task management, which I have identified to be essential to time and task management. And if you overlook these 3 components, what is going to happen is that you are going to face a lot of problems in your planning or in your time and task management routine that you are having. So first of all, we look at a plan, which has been identified. Now we look at what is a plan. A plan is an overview. A plan is a guideline. A plan is a roadmap to reach a particular goal or destination. One thing you must realize, as we started with, that task management or a task is a chore or a set goal or an objective. So meaning that every task you are going to do, every task you are given by your employer, every task you have put down for yourself to do, you have a goal to that task. You have an objective to that task. So you reaching there, you need a plan. You need a roadmap on how you are going to reach there in the best possible way. Now, for us to plan, we first need to know that what are our objectives? What are our tasks? You cannot plan if you don't know where you are going. You cannot plan if you don't know how many tasks you are having. So one step that is very key and probably is the most crucial step in time and task management, and I want you to note it down, that is task identification. Task identification. Task identification is very key in time and task management. The reason is that if you don't know how many tasks you are about to do, or you have for yourself, or you are planning to do, there is no way you can even plan accordingly. There is no way you can make a plan out of it. If peradventure, I have 5 tasks to do, today being a Saturday, I have 5 things to do, and I have written only 3 down. Now I am going to maybe do a list, or I'm going to plan. I'm going to plan with the 3 that I've written down, because the other 2, I have not written them down. I'm not sure I'm going to do them. If at the end of the day, I achieve the 3 and I leave the 2 because I didn't add them to my overview, and I created my plan according to the 3, what I realized is that I have not been effective and efficient in my planning and my management of my time and my tasks. So what is very important is the identification of your tasks. You must make sure that every task, whether big, whether small, whether very important or less important, whether urgent or not urgent at all, you must make sure that you identify them very well. Now, you have your overview. You have identified your tasks. Because you have identified your tasks, you need a strategy to plan. I don't know whether some of you are football fans or sporting fans, but one thing you realize is that footballers or coaches of football teams are actually very good planners. Because what happens is that they look at 11 players. Now, let's just take that our 11 players are our 11 tasks that we have in front of us. Now, the coach has a duty. He must make sure that his time is 90 minutes and the task is to win. But in order for him to win the match, he needs a strategy. And that strategy will become the plan, the roadmap to the destination. The destination is for them to win, for them to have what? Victory. Very well. So what strategy are you putting in place? You have identified your tasks. You know that, okay, I have 12 tasks, 13 tasks, 5 tasks, 2 tasks, whichever being the case. And out of that, I have my strategy. Okay, this is the strategy I normally use. This is the strategy somebody uses. This is the strategy our office uses. Don't worry, I'm going to get into the strategies as well, but we are going to get into that at the interactive session. So you pick your strategy, then you plan. So these are the 3 things you must note. The first and most important thing in time and task management is task identification. The second and most important thing is to pick your strategy. The third thing is to plan your task now according to the strategy you have picked. And then the fourth is to execute your tasks. So these are the 4 things which are very key in time and task management and must be noted before anything else. Very good. So I want to move on to the importance and benefits of time and task management. Why is it important for us to manage our time, manage our tasks? Why is it important at all? Somebody will say, I can just go about my business anyhow I like. A common Ghanaian saying is, what can come, can come. But you must ask yourself, are those people really successful? Are those people really doing well, either in the corporate sector or even for themselves? So why is it important to plan your time and plan your tasks? First of all, it reduces stress. If I get to the office in the morning and I don't know what I'm about, I know that I have a whole lot of tasks to do and I just start doing them anyhow I like. what happens is that probably by 11 a.m. I become stressed because maybe I have started with a task which is not important, and I have a deadline to meet of a task that I need to submit at 12 p.m. So what do? I need to plan. So planning of your time and your task reduces stress. It reduces procrastination. One thing you realize is that when you don't plan your time and your task, often you think you have time because you don't really know how long something is going to take, whether something is important, whether something is urgent. So you are just going with the flow. And when you are just going with the flow, what do you realize? That it increases procrastination. But the moment you plan your time and your task, it reduces procrastination because at every point in time, you know what you are going to do next. The moment you finish one task, you know the next task you are going to do. You know how important it is. You know what you need to do that task. You know how long it takes for you to do that task. First of all, aside that, it also allows you to increase or boost your productivity. One thing you realize is that the moment you plan your time and your tasks well, often you realize that you had much more time than you thought you have. So there are even occurrences or situations whereby you realize that you even have more time on hand to do more tasks than you even plan to do. So you increase your productivity. There's a good chance to that because you have reduced procrastination, you have reduced your stress levels, and you have planned them accordingly, you are going to be able to do more in less time or to do certain things easier or quicker. And you are going to meet your deadlines. That is another importance and great benefit of time and task management. If you work in an office or you are doing something for yourself and you work with a lot of deadlines, the moment you start with the important tasks and you finish them early, what do you realize? That you meet all your deadlines. And because you are meeting all your deadlines, it gives a good appraisal of management. It gives also a good self-esteem as well. And because of that, another benefit of time and task management is that it can help you to get promotion. It can allow you to further in your career, your education, your business. Because when we are working in an office, for instance, I am the head of my department. I have people that are working under me. And anytime I give out a task, I have given them a deadline because I like working with deadlines. The moment I give them a deadline, I'm giving you this task. I want it to be done in 3 days. I want it to be done by the end of the day. If before the end of the day, you let me know that about 3 hours before the end of the day, oh boss, I'm done with the task. What happens is that I see that you have been efficient with your time. But if by the end of the day, I realize that you have completed, and maybe I saw you pressing your phone, I saw you starting with another task, meanwhile, I have given you a deadline for this particular task, it doesn't show good on your review. And if it doesn't show good on your review, it can go against your progress. So time and task management is a good way even for you to get a promotion within the corporate sector or within the business you are doing. All right, somebody is saying that she can't hear anything. I hope she's the only one. If she is not the only one, kindly somebody should notify me so that I check my sound. Thank you very much. So we have looked at what is time and task management. We have spent about 10 to 15 minutes on that. I believe that is enough because I want us to interact. And we have looked at the importance of time and task management. We have identified 3 things which are very important in time and task management. So I want us to go on to the next session, which is going to be an interactive session. And in this session, I'm going to explain to you how we are going to do it. So just sit tight, get ready. We are going to launch this thing right away. So the second session is going like this. What type of human being are you? This is a very general question, a very big question. What type of human being are you? Or what type of worker are you? One thing you must realize is that everybody is different. Hence, in the same vein, when it comes to time and task management, everybody will have his own preferred style according to his or her own characteristics. The way I manage my tasks and my time might be different from the way somebody on this platform listening to me right now is going to manage his time and tasks. What might work for me might not work for you. What might work for your friend might not work for you. The reason is that we are all different. We have been wired different. We have grown up in different places. We went to different educational systems. And because of that, everybody relates to work at a different place or in a different way. Now, I am going to mention 6 stereotypes of human beings. And then after that, I want us to interact a little bit on what type of human being you think you are and why you think you are like that, how you relate to work, and whether you believe that the person you are or the type of stereotype that you believe you are in the category, it is a good way for time and task management, or which particular stereotype is the best for time and task management. So I have just 6 stereotypes. The first one is the laissez-faire worker. The laissez-faire worker is the going after the Ghanaians saying what can come, can come. We have workers like that who they come to office, oh, you, I'll do it. Oh, you, I will do it. Me, I won't do. This one, I'll do. They, whatever is thrown at them, okay, fine. They don't plan. They don't manage their time. They just go with the flow. We have that worker. The secondly is the doer. The doer always wants to be on top of things. He does not plan, but attacks it when it comes. The moment a task is thrown at him, quickly he attacks it. So whether even he is done with his old task is not so much of the doer's concern. The doer wants to always be doing something. So he just, there's a task, he jumps on it. There's a task, he jumps on it. Now the doer often engages, sorry to say, in tasks which are not so necessary. But because he or she always wants to be busy, he's always doing a particular task. Number 3, the perfectionist. The perfectionist generally doesn't accomplish his tasks on time because the perfectionist wants everything to be done into the little details. A task that should take about 30 minutes can take a perfectionist 3 to 4 hours because after he or she is done with the task, he will go over, see a mistake, see another mistake, see another mistake, and continue to how do you call it? Continue to join or continue to go over this task. So that is one thing you must realize with the perfectionist, that the perfectionist continually goes over his task and actually because of that wastes a lot of time. We have number 4, the shark. If you went to school in Ghana here, we have something we call sharks. They are people that are very clever, people that they learn very easily. Mostly when we went to university, these are the people that they don't have to spend much time on their books, but they still get a lot of good results. They don't have to go to all the classes, but they still end up getting the best class. They graduate with a first class uppers. They graduate cum laude, whatever it being the case. They do very well in whatever they do because it looks like their brain has been wired in that way. Now, one thing with sharks is that sharks see everything to be easy. And because of that, they quickly rush at tasks. And you realize that sharks will get their task done on time, but often make a lot of mistakes in their tasks because they believe that they know it all. It is very easy to them. So they quickly do it, get it over with. Then later you realize that they have made some petty mistakes due to the fact that they were a little overconfident with their tasks. Number 5, the hard worker. The hard worker is somebody that I would say any of us can be the hard worker. The person is dedicated to the work he or she is doing. The person is always planning his or her time, planning his or her tasks, making sure that the task is done. Even if the task is not done within the requisite time frame, the hard worker will do extra hours. The hard worker will work overtime because the hard worker only looks at completion of the tasks he or she is given. Now, the final one, and that is the 6th one, that is the slow to understand worker. Now, the slow to understand worker, this is not to offend anybody. We are all different. Some people take a little bit more time to understand tasks. They take more time to understand the things that are given to them. Now, this is not wrong, but slow workers often struggle a little bit in working with deadlines, because deadlines at times, they don't give you the space to understand the task you are doing. The moment it is given to you, you need to attack it. So we have the slow workers, or the slow to understand workers. Hence, these are the 6 types of workers that I have identified in working with people over time. And I want to now throw the question to the platform, and I want people to let me know that what type of worker do you think you are? Are you the laissez-faire worker? Are you the doer? Are you the perfectionist? Are you the shark? Are you the hard worker? Or are you the slow to understand? And when you let me know the type of worker you are, you also let me know that whether this particular type is working for you and which type you think is the best. So kindly, I have left the floor. It is open for people to bring their interaction, for people to also mention who they are, the type of worker they think they are, and what they can do with it, what they can improve on it, and which worker they think is the best. So kindly, the floor is open. All right, I can see that Priscilla is saying the doer. Very good. So Priscilla, why do you think you are the doer? And if I may ask you, you being the doer, are you able to accomplish your tasks on time?
Yes, please. The reason why I see myself as a doer is because I work according to time, and I'm able to accomplish what I have to do before the deadline. But sometimes I miss my deadlines, but most often I want to complete my work before deadline so that I don't have any issues with my supervisors.
All right, Priscilla, thank you very much. That is good. So I can see that indeed you are the doer. You want to attack your tasks. And you are also speaking about the fact that once a while you don't meet your deadlines. Well, like I said, the doer mostly attacks their tasks, but is always very focused on making sure that he or she is busy with something. Hence, what I would also advise you is that at times, doers are very pragmatic. They want to be doing something. For a doer, in order for you to achieve your task always, at times it is good to take a little step back and look at things a little more relaxed, because I used to be a doer as well. And what happens is that doers mostly, because we want to be busy, we want to be doing our tasks, we want to get it done, we once a while forget a little bit about the planning aspect. The time that the planning takes in our day, we would rather be busy actually already working on our task, trying to get something done. All right, so Priscilla, I'll come back to you. I'm seeing some other people here. I also want to answer them as well. Gideon, you have written here that you think you are the laissez-faire type of worker. You have no planning and how to accomplish any type of work. Well, like I said, so probably you are doing what can come. And the laissez-faire type of worker mostly is not very successful in the corporate sector. Nonetheless, whatever type you are, there's a way to change it. There's a way to adjust yourself. Now, one thing you must realize that the fact that you are the laissez-faire worker or type of worker, at least that's what you have identified yourself to be, meaning that pressure or stress would not catch you so much, which is a good attribute as a worker or even working for yourself. But I would urge you to look at the doers, to let you look at the hard workers, and especially when we get to the next interactive session, to look at one of the strategies of planning tasks so that you are going to set up a plan. And one thing you must do is that this is all about self-control. The moment you have a task, you must identify it. So probably now you have no planning. Probably you might not be identifying your tasks well. So I would advise you to start identifying your tasks first of all, and then realize that some of these tasks are very important. Okay, I can see Kezia. Kezia is saying that, is it possible to be more than one? Yes, it is possible to be more than one. Most people actually are more than one. But what you realize that if you are more than one, which of them are you more than one? If you are, for instance, if you are the doer and you are the perfectionist at the same time, you are going to encounter a lot of issues. Because one, you want to be doing something, at the same time, you want it to be perfect, and there's going to be a chance that you are not going to achieve most of your tasks because you always want to be on a task and you want it to be perfect. So you are going to spend much time on those tasks. But yes, it is possible to be more than one. At times, it is even good to combine more than one. All right. I'm also seeing Godot Daniel. He said that I'm kind of the like of combination of this here, depending on the situation. I am the doer, the perfectionist, and the shark, and a little bit of the slow type. Well, Daniel, you are quite a lot of them indeed. Well, everybody has characteristics, and for you to become the best of yourself in life, in corporate life, you must work on your good characteristics and try to reduce your bad characteristics. If you have all of these, I would say that there are some which are better than others. There are some which will not help you so much. So if you know that, for instance, you are the doer, you are the perfectionist, you are the shark, and you are a little bit of the slow type, let's see that how can I eliminate being slow? How can I maybe eliminate, let's say, being slow? Slow is one of them that is not very good. But how can I combine the doer, the perfectionist, and the shark into becoming the hard worker? So now you look at, okay, I'm a perfectionist, but let me tune it down a little. I'm the doer, good. I am the shark, helps you to understand. But you must ensure that you don't start rushing on your work. So yes, you are a combination. You look at all the four of them, which ones are helping you, which ones will not help you. And then you start balancing them rightly. Okay, good. Dinah says she's a perfectionist. So Dinah, it is not wrong to be a perfectionist, all right? It is never wrong to be a perfectionist. Just that in your perfection, you must ensure that you don't waste time on tasks, overdoing it, trying to be so perfect to the extent that at times you even start making mistakes. So it is good to be a perfectionist, but you must know your limits in being a perfectionist in order for you to be efficient and effective in your work. All right, Emmanuel says, I'm the doer, I'm able to complete my work on time. However, I believe the hard worker is best to me. Well, I'm very happy with your response. I was actually waiting for somebody to say this. So yes, you can be a doer and you can achieve your work on time. Very true. But the hard worker among all the six is always the best, because the hard worker is always going to achieve his tasks. Whatever package that he has been given, he is going to make sure that he's achieving his tasks. And he's always going to make sure that he's planning them rightly. And because of that, the hard worker at the end of the day often gets the promotions, gets the increases, contracts, so and so forth, depending on where you work or the work you are planning to do, the job you are starting for yourself or the job you are applying to. Good. Jennifer Kisi is also saying that I actually have two combinations. I am a doer and I'm a shark. So this is good. Normally, you realize that sharks are doers because sharks are quick to understand topics. They often quickly want to move into doing it. So it is good to be a shark. It is good to be a doer. But my question to you, Jennifer, is that you being a shark and you being a doer, at times, do you find yourself rushing on tasks? Because at times it might even seem like the task is too easy for you, or the task, oh, as for this one, I can do it quickly. So you quickly do it, try to move on to another task. All right. So Daniel, I've seen your thumbs up. Thank you very much. Stella, okay, he said, I'm a combination of a laissez-faire, a doer, and a little shark, depending on the task. Wow. So Stella, my question to you will be, what type of tasks are you given in your workplace, or where you are doing something for yourself? Because at times when I see something like this, depending on the task, meaning that there are certain tasks which are pleasurable to you, and certain tasks which probably they seem a little bit like a headache to you. And it says that, and this makes me to task, this makes me to give more attention to some tasks than others. So I will end up completing some tasks, and others I might not even touch it. But the one I can do, I do it to perfection. So I like that you do the ones you can do to perfection. But there are certain corporate environments, you cannot say that you are going to not complete some tasks. There are some corporate environments whereby the moment you don't complete your task, the truth is that there's going to be a letter of termination of contract. So you need to always be able to accomplish your tasks. So that means that for you, what is going to be very important is for you to be very attentive in listening to our next session on what are we going to do to plan our tasks and our time, or the strategy we are going to use, so that you make sure that you are able to do all of them, even if you don't like that task. And for you, I might even say that in that case, it is even better for you to start with the task that you don't like, to make sure that you finish them, and then later go on to the ones that you like, since you would have a little bit more of work energy for those tasks. Okay, good. Stella said, okay, that's good. I have Esther appear. But how well is time managed for the hardworking type if they work overtime? I like your question. Very good. Very good. So one thing you must realize is that, yes, the hard worker works overtime once in a while. And I didn't say that the hard worker always works overtime. The hard worker would go the extra mile in order to get the work done. Now, when I said overtime, I'm not talking about overtime at the office, okay? There are some tasks which require a lot of time, although it is not good for us to take work home. But the truth is that often at times we take work home. Now, there is preparation to tasks, okay? Overtime can be you doing a little research. If you are picking trotro to work, overtime can be you sitting in the trotro doing some research on the task you are about to do, so that the moment you get to office, you immediately go into the task, instead of you now going to do your preliminary research and so on and so forth. So I'm not necessarily speaking about sitting at the office to 6, 7, 8, or 9. No, I'm talking about you working overtime, at times even in your little private hours, making sure that the moment you get to office, you can do what you need to do within the time that is required. And when I'm looking at the hard worker, one thing too, I'm looking at the fact that the hard worker is one that always plans. All right. If you have any question on that, Esther, kindly ask me. All right. I also think that for us to continue into the next session, in the next 2 to 3 minutes, we'll be wrapping up this session. So I'm quickly going to answer the rest of the questions. Amati, you are a doer and a perfectionist. I believe I have answered that already, but like I said, you being a doer and a perfectionist is not bad, but make sure that you accomplish your tasks on time. Try and reduce a little on the perfectionist, especially if it is not allowing you to complete your task on time. Very well. Jennifer Kisi said again that I actually have 2 combinations. You are a doer and a shark. So I think somebody else also said this, and okay, Jennifer Kisi said, I realize I make mistakes when I use the shark stereotype. So like I said, the shark, because he or she believes she knows how to do it and thinks the job is easy, often rushes over it and makes a lot of mistakes. So one thing I would say is that, Jennifer, it is good to be a shark. It is good that you have that capacity, but tune it down a notch. Relax a little, analyze your tasks very well before you start, so that you don't quickly jump into it. That is the problem of the shark. The shark sees the task, quickly jumps into the task. But it is good to plan, take your time, do your preliminary studies and everything before you start with that task, in order not to make that mistake as a stereotype shark. All right, good. I have Salifu. I think I'm a perfectionist type. I perceived making an error or a mistake as not being capable. I always make sure to do an excellent job, which will take time. Salifu, like the others who said they are perfectionists. Being a perfectionist is not bad. But we are looking at time and task management.